Hey, what's going on, champs? I'm Aaron Deliosa. Welcome to an Immigrant's Life podcast, my podcast about immigrants and immigration and everything in between. Thank you for listening and downloading the show, and thank you for supporting my dad.
Welcome back, Immigrant Nation. Another week, another new episode. As always, thank you for joining me every week, whenever or wherever you are listening to this podcast. I'm grateful for your support and I appreciate you so much. And if you have not officially joined the Immigrant Nation, I suggest for you to please click the subscribe button wherever you are listening to this podcast. And another way to be part of this community is by visiting and following our social media accounts. Our handle is An Immigrant's Life. There you can see pictures, audio reels, and other things that I consider cool. It is also there where you can contact me if you or someone you know is interested in appearing as a guest on the podcast, or you can send an email to animmigrant'slife@yahoo.com. So let's connect and let's tell your beautiful story. All the reminders are done. Now, let's talk about this week's episode. I am thrilled to introduce this week's podcast guest, an amazing artist who, like Bob Ross, firmly believes that talent is developed through nurture and demonstrating that art transcends borders. We also discuss his desire to bring back Picasso's groundbreaking artistic style to Africa. Please enjoy this thought-provoking conversation about art and life, and I hope you learned something from it. So let's not waste more time. Without further ado, let's get into the show. Isa, dalawa, tatlo. Today's guest is a visual contemporary artist that conquers emotion through lines and colors, which he encapsulates all in his paintings. Everyone, please welcome Caezar Adesina.
Yay! Hi, everyone. Nice to be here. So nice to be here.
Oh, thank you for coming on, man. I really do
No
appreciate it.
problem. No problem at all. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course, man. I love your art. I was like, yo, this guy, he has to come on. He has cool stuff. I'm pretty sure he has this beautiful painting, colorful painting. I'm pretty sure there's some darkness in there, and I want to talk about the darkness.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Before we move on, why don't you tell the Immigrant Nation where they can reach you or if you want to promote anything?
Oh, I'm mostly on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. My Instagram is iCaezar, ICAEZAR. Yeah, and my website, the same thing, iCaezar.com, ICAEZAR.
Why did you decide to put the I in front?
Okay, so when I started painting back in 2016, I used S, right? S stands for Segun. So it used to be SCAEZAR, so Segun Caesar. But then lately, when I started to, when I wanted to build my brand, I just wanted something I think some people can easily relate to, and I wanted to make it kind of personal. It just came to me like, let me say I, Caesar. Like, this is my personal brand. Like, this is me, I, myself.
Oh,
So,
it's beautiful.
I, Caesar.
I love it.
Yeah.
You mentioned the name Segun. What does that mean?
Segun means, okay, the full name is Oluwa Segun. Oluwa means God. Segun means to win. So you can say God win.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's like to be victorious. Like,
Is that
like
your
God
nickname?
wins.
Like your family nickname, or you gave that name to yourself?
No, it's my first name.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
Adesina is my last name. But Caesar is a nickname.
Oh, okay.
And then I made that the brand name.
Who gave you that nickname? Did you give that to yourself?
Oh, it was in school. It was so funny. Like, everybody kind of thought I was like this snob because I was so cool in school, so gentle. I just face my business. I don't like really talk to anybody. And then people start saying like he walks around like he wants the place, like da 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 da. And then someone just I've forgotten how in my 100 level in an OAU, someone just mentioned like, it was like trying to mock me or something like that. I just said Julius Caesar, and then I just picked up on this Caesar, right? And then Caesar is spelled with C, most of the time Caesar,
Mm.
but then I just kind of switched it up to Caezar, so it doesn't really. So it's not spelled the same way as the biblical Julius Caesar.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. I love that
Yeah,
that
thank you.
they're trying to like not bring you down, but they're trying to like something,
Yeah.
but you're like, you know what, dude? Yes, I
And
am.
then, yeah, then it just became this thing like, and for like, how many years now? Like 8 years now, it's just stuck. Like nobody, only my parents call me Shag. Okay.
That's awesome.
Mm.
Yoruba boy from Nigeria.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's talk about that. You mentioned that you went to Obafemi Awolowo University. I know it's far from Lagos. Were you original from Lagos?
I was born in Lagos, then we moved out of Lagos like when I was still young. We
Hmm.
moved to Oshun State. Oshun State is where this school is. So my parents remained in Oshogbo, which is the capital of Oshun.
Mhm.
So when I got into OAU, it was just like a 30 minutes drive, right? It was after my university that I moved back to Lagos myself.
Usually, most Nigerians I talk to, they moved to Lagos. Your family moved
Yeah.
out of Lagos. Was there a reason?
Um, okay, so the story I heard, because I was young when we moved, the
Hmm.
story I heard was my dad was at the time, my dad just left. He used to be a soldier. So he retired and then he went to school for civil engineering. Then we moved away because he got a job. And I think it was supposed to be a short move. And then I guess he fell in love with the state or something. Because Lagos is just this crazy place that everybody, when you are like a like family man, you don't really want to be in Lagos, right? Lagos is for hustling. So I think that's what happened with us moving away.
So, how was your life in Ocean?
Yeah, I had all my education in Oshun State. It was really, my dad was kind of strict, old soldier and all. So it was pretty much go to school, come back. So I was always this, yeah, you have to, there was a curfew then for 7 p.m. when you are like 1 minute past 7 late. 1 minute late, it locks you outside for like 30 minutes or 1 hour. So So, and then again, the kind of person I grew up to be, probably that was why I never liked going out, right? So, as I continue to grow up, I don't go out to see friends. And Oshun is not this really crazy place. It's just everybody in his house, everybody in their houses, just with their families. So there was no fun, no fun. We were just going to school, coming back, trying to get good grades, and like impress our parents.
That's funny because you said that you had a curfew at 7 p.m. I had a curfew at 6 p.m.
What?
Yeah,
That would be crazy.
6
Where
p.m.
did you
because
grow up?
I grew up in the Philippines.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Wow.
the rule was before the church bell rings, you have to be inside the house, or else you know what's gonna happen.
Right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we kind of grew up to be really afraid of our parents. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
so yeah, 6 p.m. you have to go in, and that was the rule, bro. I never broke that rule. That's one rule I never broke.
Yo, I can't relate. I can't relate. Trust me.
But I love that you said that because of that rule, it transferred to you not really enjoy going out. Because
Mm.
I am the same thing. Like I do enjoy
Yes.
once in a while, but most of the time I just want to stay home.
Yo, I never want to leave my house. I can be, especially because I paint. And so I paint full time, right? So I have no reason. The only like time I want to go out is if I need to go get materials, right, for my painting. And then there was a time I was home alone, and after a week, I realized I have not stepped out of my compound. It was just, I like to paint outside. So it was just from me like leaving my house, going outside my door and starting to paint, and then I go back in. Like, and I did not even realize until like a week later when someone called me and said, "Yeah, when was the last time you were outside?" And I said, "Wow, it's been like a week."
That's
Yeah,
funny.
crazy.
I don't paint or anything like that, but I guess I'm gonna translate it to with me. It was when I was younger, I got into video games a lot, and there was like
Mm.
a time that I didn't go out for I don't know, maybe 3 months. I didn't go out. I stayed home.
Wow.
My friends were calling my house like, "Yo, what happened to you? Are you alive? You know, you're like hanging out." I'm like, "Well, if you want to hang out, come to my house, but I'm not going out."
Right?
You know. But I
Crazy.
love that. You said that you paint a lot, but I saw that you finish political science.
Mm. Local government administration, actually. I don't like telling people that because they laugh, but yeah, that
What?
was my course.
Yeah,
Local
why?
government. I don't know, because people are just like crazy in Nigeria. Because when you don't do all these nice courses like economics, political science, uh, law, English, medicine, they look at you and like, I mean, why did you even go to school? So most of the time, even I just tell people, yeah, political science, because I just don't want to go through the whole, oh, what course is that? Yeah, what do you do? What are you supposed to do after school? Yeah, political science. Yeah, yeah, thank you.
So why did you choose local government studies?
Yeah, the honest part was it was so difficult for me to get into to university after, because I had to stay back home for like 4 years after my secondary school
Hmm.
before I could get into the university.
Why?
It was a crazy time in my life because you have to pass like two stages of exams.
Hmm.
You have to pass, there's what we call the JAMB. The JAMB exam is what gets you into like the university. But then there's usually a cutoff, like if you can only get into this particular university if you have this particular cutoff, right? So when you get that cutoff, then each university will probably make you take an exam and then give you another cutoff for that exam. So it was this crazy because a lot of people were trying to get into the university. Because the whole idea of Nigerian parents is you need to go to school. Like my dad was so serious about that. Like before, I don't care what you want to do in your life. I don't care. But you need to finish your secondary school and go to the university to have a degree. And then you can do whatever you want to do, right? So a lot of people were trying to get into the university. It was crazy. So at the end of the day, after like 3 years, and I could not get in, and I was meeting this cutoff. But even after you miss the cutoff, you have to know people, right? Because there's a lot of people getting into this cutoff. But you have the upper hand when you know someone that knows someone that can talk to someone that can get you in. So the fastest way then was, I don't know about now though, but the fastest way then was to go for pre-degree. Pre-degree is like each university has its own. So I went to OAU pre-degree, but if I'm going to be honest, I was not serious in my pre-degree because I was like tired. Like 4 years of my life is just gone. So in my head, I just want to start something, like go learn something, like just learn an handwork or something that can just move on with my life. Like, why do I even need a degree? Right? But my parents insisted. So I was just doing a lot of other things in pre-degree, trying to like make money for myself, stop asking them for money from home. But nothing ever like came true, right? I even tried music, I'm not going to lie.
You just want to get it off, eh?
Oh, yo. And
My God.
then, so I did not pass really well. And I'm so happy I didn't because my parents wanted me to go for, because it's always your parents telling you to do this, do that, go for this course. Yeah. It was economics. Yeah. But when I was in pre-degree, I saw people in 100 level that are already in the university. and they are always complaining about economics. They are always complaining about the mathematics, like the calculations. And if there's one thing I do not like in my life, as I hate numbers, right? So I was scared of the numbers I was going to do for 4 years in school. So I was kind of happy when I got the local government. When I knew I just needed to read, understand, and pour it down. And that was what I did through my 4 years. Read to pass the exam and just get my degree. And let my parents just leave me alone.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. So that was my local government story.
After that, that's when you moved to Lagos?
Yeah, after school I moved to Lagos in 2015, I think. Yeah.
Okay. What was your plan to do in Lagos? Were you plan to work or just party or do whatever you want to do?
Party? No, I don't even club. I don't party. I went to meet my brother, my eldest brother. He was in Lagos at the time. So he just said I should just come. That, do I want to go back home to the parents after school? Like, I'm a big boy now, just come meet me in Lagos. And the thing I mean, he actually wanted me to come, but at the same time, it doesn't cook, it doesn't do anything. So it's this lazy person looking for, and I'm this Andy cooking, doing everything kind of person. So he wanted that. So, and
And
I was
you're the
happy to go.
sucker.
Yeah, yeah, you can put it that way. And I was happy to go to Lagos too, though, because that's where everything is happening. And I was already drawing then, and I felt this would be good for my drawing.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was why I moved to Lagos.
You always been painting? You always been in art?
Yeah, I've always been in art. When I was in my 300 level in school, I don't know if everybody can relate to 300 level. It's like the years in the university. When you get in 100 level, 200 level, 300 level, 400, and that's the 400 is the final year. So in my 300 level, there was a strike in my school. So I went back home and I was really just angry. Like, I just want to get these 4 years over with and move on with my life. And now we are on strike. It was indefinite. There was no end to the strike, right? So, and then I remember a friend came over and he was telling me about his friend in school that draws and uses this technique. And I was so interested because I was drawing already, but they were like, I wish you could see my drawings then. So I was so into that, like, wow, maybe I can like start this and start just taking little money. And I'm not going to lie, it was all about the money then, right? So when he told me all that, then I went to YouTube. YouTube has always been my friend, by the way. As in everything I know today, it was from YouTube and Google. So I went to YouTube, I searched the technique, I started practicing. And then when we go back to school, and then I was this guy drawing, and then I was just drawing. And then someone saw my drawing one day and said, oh, an old friend actually. And he was traveling. He was coming to Canada at the time in 2016 or so. He was coming to Canada and he said, oh, can you make this drawing for me? He thought I was this like already made artist. And he has no idea that that would be my first commission painting. And then I just yeah, I can do that for you. And then I went on Google to search for how much should I charge this for this blah 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 for this size. And then I saw on Google, and then okay, I just bring this amount and I'll do it for you. And then he gave me the picture, and I did like kind of really, I mean, relatively at the time it was kind of really nice, and he loved the painting. And then I said, wow, if I can make this painting and make this amount of money, then why not just start doing this? And then when school resumed, that was why I started, and just started putting my paintings. I call them drawing. I don't like to call them because I made them with pencils. So I draw someone very popular, and then I go to school, and I go to places like this in this picture behind you. And then I just put them up on the notice board where it's allowed. I put my phone number, I put my Instagram. And then, I mean, a few people just started reaching out to me. The money was so stupid, though. I'm not going to lie. My first commission was like the highest money I got in like a very long time. the money people were paying me, but it was keeping me afloat. I was a big boy in school, right? I was not asking my parents for money, and that was all I ever wanted. Yeah, I had this freedom, like I can do. So yeah, that was how my art started. It's a really long story.
No, it's
Yeah.
perfect. It's perfect. But I read that you moved to Canada to study fine art.
Okay. Yeah. So when I started doing the old drawings and all, and I moved to Lagos, there was a very few of us drawing then.
Hmm.
There were a very few of us doing art in 2016, 2017. So we kind of knew each other. And then I realized everybody was doing the same thing at the time. We were just drawing portraits.
Hmm.
So I've always wanted more. And I was on Instagram, I was seeing all these nice artworks that people are doing, and they are not drawing portraits. And I realized if you really want to move up, like in the art world, you don't, all these older critics of art or all these older artists, they don't really rate you as as a pencil portrait artist. That might not be true, but that was my truth,
Mm-hmm.
right? I felt they don't really just see you up there. So I started to think about going to get a degree or diploma in fine art because I felt that was what I needed, right?
Mm-hmm.
I started to think YouTube was not enough for me. So I wanted to get a diploma in Nigeria. My brother was kind of against it that even if you're going to do something, just leave the country and go outside the country to learn this stuff. And then there was a time I went to see this a sculpture artist. He's like a big boy, big man, big serious artist in Nigeria now. Dr. Pukuola. I'm not sure if you know him. He uses scrap metals to create all these really, really nice sculptures and it made from scrap. So I went to see him at his workshop and I was telling him how I want to leave the country to go study fine arts. I really like what you're doing. Like I was ready to do anything. I was ready to stop drawing or painting or anything to even just do anything that would really make me happy. But I really wanted to paint, right? So he said, nah, that I don't really have to. That if it's really bothering me, I should, but its own advice is I should just keep doing what I'm doing and just grow and
Mm.
just let myself grow. So yeah, I accepted that and I went back to Lagos. I I was drawing on paper, I'm making portraits on paper. Then I went to buy paint and canvases and I went on YouTube, like, how do I do this? What do I need? And I just started painting. Right. And then the opportunity just came for me to apply to school in Canada. Like the opportunity just came. And I felt if this opportunity is here, why not just do the fine arts then? I just felt, let me just let me see what happens. Let me see if this is what I've been looking for, right? And being a portrait artist, portraiture brings you like, especially realism. I started with realism. This brings you a lot of exposure on Instagram. When you do realism, there's a lot of wow, how did you do that? So it gets you a lot of traffic, it gets you a lot of followers, right? But most of these followers don't really convert to fulfillment or I don't know how to explain. I just see a lot of the wows and I'm still not happy, right? Because I really feel I want to do something that is meaningful. I don't want people to just send me their picture and then I draw their faces and I give it back to them and then the artwork is gone,
Mm.
right? So there's nothing memorable about that.
You want some
So
impact.
yeah, I wanted to make some impact. Yeah, like I want you to be able to come to me like, what does this mean? And I am always so happy explaining my work, right?
Mm.
Because I'm always doing something that relates to my childhood, that relates to where I'm from, Nigeria, or just Black people in general.
Mm.
So that was why that was the when the opportunity came to come to Canada, I just applied to Centennial College for Fine Arts, and yeah, that was what happened. Again, it's a really
Yeah,
long
yeah.
story, but that's the shit.
Let me just ask something. Were you happy that you went to school so you learned these techniques, or do you think you would have been fine and succeed without going to school?
Funny enough, when I applied to this school and I got the admission, when you get admission, they do a portfolio review for you,
Hmm.
and the woman that did the portfolio review with me, she said, "Wow, your works are really good. Are you sure you need us?" Right?
Wow.
It was a diploma in Centennial College in Toronto.
Hmm.
So I said, yeah, I think because I really wanted to learn the basics. Like, I don't know how to explain, like the basics, the foundation of art. Yeah, I
Yeah.
felt I knew nothing about that. It's just YouTube videos, right? And I felt like a one-on-one the classroom connection between myself, the other students, and the professor will really help. So I
Hmm.
said, yeah, yeah, yeah. So, but then, to be honest, I think I would have done. I think the only thing school does to you is because what you need in art to get better really fast is you practicing every day. I think what school does for you is they push you, they give you deadlines, so they push you to work like every day.
Hmm.
So I think I would say that was what really helped me because between 2021 and 2022, it was supposed to be a 2 year course. So after 1 year, I left because
You drop out.
yeah, I stopped. I still want to go back to get my certificates for the remaining 1 year, but I felt I wasn't really like it wasn't making a lot of difference for me,
No, for
right?
sure. You're not growing. You feel like being stagnant.
And it was a lot of money to as an international student to school like in Canada. So
Hmm.
I just went nah. Nah.
Let me ask you, how would you describe your artwork style?
Hmm. Honestly, when people see my works, they say cubism.
Hmm.
But
Picasso.
yeah, Picasso style, but that was kind of what inspired my style because there's this controversy that Picasso like got the idea of cubism from Africa. So like he took that out of the continent and made it his own. There's always this controversy. When you Google Picasso Africa controversy, you see something like that. So it was just like this idea, a personal idea for myself, like I'm bringing this style back to Africa, right?
Hmm.
But in a more futuristic way. I'm still developing every day. My next set of paintings, my series I'm working on will be more futuristic looking. So
Okay.
I really don't want when someone says cubism, I don't argue because I don't, but I don't want to call it cubism.
For me, it's
I
not
don't want
really
to.
cubism, to be honest. Like I see what. Why would they say that? I see, but I don't think it's really cubism.
Yeah, but if you go back to when this style, if you go back to when I started, the works look kind of different from what I'm doing now.
Hmm.
They are more, the colors pop more, and the cubist style is not really there. Yeah, so I would say I'm evolving. So I am not going to label my style
Hmm.
any name right now.
I love that.
But as long as people see and see, oh, this is Caesar's work. I mean, that's all I need,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. You want your
If people can,
signature.
yeah. If people can see that this is Caesar's signature painting, that's enough for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about Picasso, because funny enough, I visited a museum that he had his African artwork there. It was
Yeah.
Picasso's African, what did they call it? African period or some shit like that. And talking about that, Do you think that is cultural appropriation, or could it be seen in a way that he promoted the culture and elevated the popularity of African art?
Personally, I don't see anything wrong in what Picasso did. That's just my truth. I think I think we blacks, I think we are like angry at everything that went on during that period. And I would say he did something really, really good for African art. Like I think Picasso meant well when he did all these things. And he said it himself that he did not hide anything. He made it obvious, like he made it public that he was inspired by the African masks, right? Yeah, that he loved the angular shapes, the way it was made, and that was what inspired his cubism. Because when you see Picasso's cubism, they are totally different. They are like delicate. They are like you would love them. They define art. So most of the time now, like I just read Picasso's quotes and I read like he is an inspiration. Picasso is a beast in art. Like he
Bro,
knows, he knows, he
he's
knows this thing.
he's probably my number one, Picasso.
Yeah. Imagine no Instagram, no social media, no anything back then, and the world knows his name. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So
One of
if
my sorry, one of my favorite like story or quote about Picasso was during his prime, he was so famous that if he wants a house, all he has to do is draw a house.
wow,
You know what I mean?
wow,
That's power.
yeah. I think I would if anybody brings this pill that would take me back in time, I would go back to the Picasso era. Like I just want to sit down with him and let him talk. But because people like that, you don't need to ask them anything. Just like be with them for like a day. Just see how they think, how they talk, how they reason. Yo, I would like to see what goes on in his mind.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, like I said, I live in Montreal and they had a exhibition of his pieces from during
Mm.
the African period.
Wow.
It was very exciting. Hey, listen, I would have loved the cubism part, but that was good too. You know. Speaking of your art and your style, which I really love because of the colors, the shapes, and the
Yeah.
images, and two of my favorite. I have a few, but my two of my favorites. Number one is the Kodu,
Yay!
bro. That's a. Uh, I love like how it is so, like it's color, but a very like subtle color,
Ew.
soft.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I love how the woman is in the forefront and she's so clear, and the man is in
Yeah.
the back and he's like, there's paint on his face or something like that or light.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was the inspiration of that piece?
Yeah. When I was painting that piece, it was like about the black relationship. The there's something people don't really talk about. It's that there are more black couples stay together for a very long time than I think than any other race. And but that was just my idea, but it was more about the relationship I had with my wife. Yeah, when we got married last year.
Congratulations, by the
So
way.
yay, thank you. And then we both there was a day she was talking to me and she said, oh, she works like from home and I paint at home. So we're like both working at home. So the only time really the only time we are together is when we're about to go to bed. And like so like the bedroom is just our space. Like that's when we like cuddle up and talk about our day. And it was just this very perfect moment,
Hmm.
like that we get to share
Hmm.
throughout the day.
Hmm.
So that was the title too, Kodo. Like see you did early. Then I changed it into like a way a Yoruba person we say is Kodu. So that was what came about with the Kodu.
I
Yeah,
love it.
so
That's
yes.
beautiful.
So
You know,
that
that
was
woman, I don't know who you use, but it reminds me of Kerry Washington,
yeah.
the
It
actress.
probably looks like her. But I might take a picture because if you see the neck doesn't look like like a regular neck.
Yeah,
So
it's elongated.
what yeah, when I take a picture, I try to break them down into shapes, into simple shapes. Some are extreme,
Hmm.
some I like go easy.
Hmm.
So when I use a reference picture and I start breaking down the shape, it doesn't look like the reference anymore. Because along
Hmm.
the line, I make these really awkward shapes and just move things around till it just makes sense to me. So
Yeah.
do I even remember the reference picture I used? I don't. So at some points I just drop the reference and then I just focus on the painting and
Yeah, I
start
love
to
it.
decide
I love the
my lot.
movement of the painting. I love the movement
Yeah.
of, I don't know what they are, the
And the
dress or the
sheets.
paper or
Yeah,
whatever
the
the sheet.
sheets.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, covering them. Yeah.
how it follows the neck of the woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like one of my best paintings, man.
Hmm.
Yeah, I wish, but for now, I really just want to stick to selling originals, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I wish I was holding on to that original and then just selling prints, but I'm trying to build the brand around originals at least for a year,
Yeah. Speaking
or
of
like
that,
throughout this year.
you were saying about, hard to let go. Some artists, they dread of the idea of separating from their artwork. In your case, is it hard for you to sell your pieces?
Yes. Like I have like two paintings now that I'm not even listing on my website because they're just hanging on my wall. I
Hmm.
really just want them to stay with me for a bit. Honestly, I mean, I love when I first listed my works, I put the prices so high, like 5K, because I did not want people to buy them. But my wife insisted I list them because the house was so full of artworks hanging all over the house.
Hey,
And it was
listen, if
just
you're running
because,
out of space, you can send some over here. I'm not gonna complain, I promise you that.
right? And then my wife insisted I list some, so I listed at a very high price, so nobody would buy them. But then I saw a Picasso quote, and they said, "Man, you need to get your artworks into the world. Like no matter, like do not care about the price right now. Like just start creating and start pushing them out. Just push them out. Make sure they sell." So, and as the night I saw that quote. And then I just went on my website. I listed couple for like 3,800 before.
Hmm.
And then there was someone asked me about the Kodu before. And I said, he asked for a discount. I said no. And then that night, as soon as I saw the quotes, I said, oh, this is my daddy speaking to me, my daddy Picasso. So let me just listen to him. I mean, it only makes sense, right? You can't just keep working and keeping
No.
them to yourself. You want the world to see you, to listen to your story,
Yeah, you have to
right?
share. You have to share your beauty, your talent, your artwork.
Right.
You
I
know.
was even off Instagram for like a year. I was posting like maybe once a month. I
Hmm.
was just working, right? I was trying to, because this style, I was just starting to perfect this style, right? Because we are always learning. Like my artworks will look different next year than they do now. We are evolving.
I love that.
So the night I saw that quote, I just went on my website and I just chopped 2K off the price and I just put it like 1,800. Like, oh, fine, just go. And then the next day, it was sold.
Bro,
Oh,
somebody's waiting.
I was so sad. Like, wow, you did not even like wait for like 2 days. But I was so happy at the same time, like someone, because as an artist, you need, especially when the work is so special to you, you might not want it to go, but at the same time, you need to know that the public love what you are doing. Because when you see an artwork, you need to fall in love with the artwork first. Then you want to know the idea behind it. I mean, if you see an artwork and you don't really like it, then you probably don't even want to know about it. Not to talk of buying it for yourself. But when artists know that people love my work, that's like the only encouragement ever. Trust me, when that work sold, I went to the store, used like almost all the money to buy canvases, pens, and then I started making new sketches, like thinking of all these series that if you I know I have folders of works I want to do, but I've been sleeping on them. Like, what if people don't like? Maybe people don't really like my works, and like I'm not good enough,
You're crazy.
right?
What the
It's
hell are you
just that
talking
feeling,
about?
like,
You're not making any
yo,
sense right now.
it's a serious. We have this with my wife. We have this conversation where she says, "Oh, don't worry, you're so good. Don't worry. This will sell." She's like, I'm telling you, man, like I'm breaking down. Like nobody likes my work. My work doesn't look good. Blah blah blah. As soon as that work sold, that single work that sold. That was all I needed. And then I became more active on Instagram. Started making more paintings. I started like pushing myself beyond just restricting myself to that style, trying to um, break through in my mind from realism, because that's something I struggle with. No matter how much I want to draw shapes and colors, there is always this realism still showing through, right? So, I mean, it's not bad. Realism is not bad. I still think, in fact, I have this work. Do you know this artwork? The girl with the pearl earring.
Yes, that
Yeah, I
is
have.
what's his name? The Dutch guy.
Yeah,
I forgot his name.
I forget. Uh,
Yeah, I'll find it.
anyways, I want to create that artwork, but with a black girl. Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be a little bit more realistic. So for people to get the idea from where the painting is from, because the actual painting is realistic, right? So yeah,
Vermeer. Johan Vermeer.
Vermeer. Yeah,
Yeah.
Vermeer. So yeah, that is like artists need to know that my
Yeah,
work
yeah,
has
you have to spread. You have to evolve, and as you should as an artist, you know. Another one that I love was, or is, Ruby Bridges, that little girl.
Oh
That's
yeah.
flames.
Yeah, my little niece inspired that one.
Hmm.
Yeah, I just saw her going to school one day. She was not exactly dressed like that, but when I just saw her, I just felt during the during the slavery period when black people were going through all that, and then I was there even school. Were black kids going to school? Were they learning anything? Like, see the freedom all these kids are enjoying now, right? And then I went on Google and I searched for women in like really popular women then that fought for freedom. And I saw the story of Ruby Bridges, and it was just so inspiring. You should read about her story. Yeah.
It's
But
beautiful.
when I made the painting though, I did not have Ruby Bridges in my mind. I just felt this painting is going to be like for a strong woman that really had a lot of impact during that period. Yeah. And then I put it out there. When I posted the painting, I said, name this painting. I did not tell the story. I did not say this was my inspiration. I did not. And trust me, this painting went so like viral, like it was so big, like everybody was commenting, blah, 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 blah. Till today, people are still naming the painting, right? But I was just waiting. I checked every name that everybody gave. And as I was about to go to sleep, like maybe a week later when after I posted, and I just saw these comments pop up, Ruby Bridges.
Perfect.
Yeah. Like when I saw the comment, I felt, wow, this sounds like what I want to name my painting. But wait, let me see what this is about. And then I went on Google and then I read that story. Wow. And then I went to reply the girl that's like, yo, this is why I'm naming this painting. And not until then, that was when I listed the painting on my website. Like now it has a name. Now I want to list it on my website. Yeah. So
I want to ask you, I saw that you mentioned that you work better doing multiple projects than focusing just one. How's that process? Could you explain?
okay, so when I start a new painting and I keep going on just one painting, I will get tired. I will feel it will become boring to me. It will become because before I paint, I already sketched them out. I already planned my color theory. I already planned everything. So I'm kind of done with the artwork. I'm kind of done with that piece. The only thing I need to do is mix my colors appropriately and put them on the canvas, right? So that work is already done. It's already boring to me. So the fun part is in the process for me. The fun part is stretching my canvas on a frame, using staplers to the staple gun to staple them, putting gesso, putting primer, preparing my canvas, putting them on the user, sketching them out, sketching my artwork out, deciding a lot of things. But as soon as I sketch and I start painting, that painting is done in my head. So I would rather paint like a bit into the go a bit into the painting, drop the canvas, pick up another canvas, start the whole process again. That is the fun part. Like it's so amazing. So right now I have like 1, 2, 3, 4 works I'm working on.
Okay, so when you're working on them, are you literally like working on one thing and then you jump to the other thing, or just like today I'm gonna work on this, the next days?
Honestly, it depends. I don't plan. I don't plan anything before I go to bed. When I wake up, I just feel, let me do this. Let me finish this work. Right?
Yeah, I understand. I was gonna ask you, because most artists does this. Like, do you sell print?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I'm trying to stay like as original as possible. So right now, at least for the rest of this year, I don't want to make any prints.
Okay.
That might change. That might change because I feel there are works I really, really want to hold on to. Right? So if I feel there's a demand for a particular work, I do not want to part with it, I can offer prints.
Okay.
But as long as possible, I'm staying away from prints. I want to be pushing out just my original artworks for now.
That's beautiful. You know Bob Ross, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he said once that talent is a pursued interest. Anything that you're willing to practice, you can do. What is your personal take on that? Is that do you agree with that, or there are some people that just cannot paint?
That is the truth. I think everybody can paint. I think everybody.
You haven't seen my drawing, bro.
That is the thing. See, that is the thing. You have other things you are doing, right? When I was in school, I already decided in my mind that I am not going to look for jobs. I am not going to a 9 to 5. I am not doing all these things. I will do something for myself by myself. So this has always been my mentality. And as soon as I found drawing, that was all I ever wanted to do. And I kept going every day, every day. So at that point, it was more than having a talent. I don't think there's anything called talent even. I think it's passion. when you have the passion, then you can build that passion into whatever you want, right? If you keep going, because human beings are like human beings are complex. They are a very complex machine. We can do anything. I'm telling you, we can. Remember when phones came out? Remember all those phones we were using? All those.
Yeah, yeah.
Yo, do you see the phones you are using now? No keypads. Who would have ever thought that we would not be using the first time I saw a phone without a keypad, I was like, wow. See, now it's even nothing. Now we are driving electric cars. I was seeing this new Benz the other day. It was like the movie Avatar. Like you just put your hand on
Scan
like,
it.
and then it lights up. See, the possibilities are endless. So when you say you want to paint or you want to draw, why do you think people retire, they go to painting, and then suddenly you see these old people just blowing up like very good painters? Yeah, that's because after retirement, there was nothing left for them to do, and they picked it up as an hobby, and they were doing it every day, and they become so good at it that they become popular. So the only difference between myself and anybody else that feels they are not good enough is because they are not doing it every day consistently. Like going on YouTube, going on Google, asking questions. There's no way you will not get good if you keep painting every day for like a year.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Actually, another one that caught my eye and interest about your Instagram and your art is sometimes you post photos or videos and then you write poetry beside it as a subtitle.
Yeah.
Are those your original pieces or who wrote that?
Oh, my poems are Chat GPT. My poems are Chat GPT. I just go, I tell Chat GPT the idea behind my painting. Yeah, because I like mystery, right? I don't want to just type, yeah, this painting was because myself and my wife, when we work all day, we go to the bed and then we call. Yeah, that's just so lame, right? And then I'm not a poet. I don't write poems, right? So I beg ChatGPT, like, bro, before you take over the world, I am so nice to I am so nice to you. I've been so nice to you. Can you please write a poem for me with this idea?
You're killing me right now. You're so like artist and then you just chat GPT, bro.
Yeah. And then I copy that and I put that on my
All right, that's
because
fair enough.
every time yeah.
Anyways, since you mentioned chat GPT, what's
Okay.
your opinion on AI art?
Yo, AI, you need I see a lot of artists complaining that AI is taking over art. AI is not taking over art. AI is here to help you on your art journey. Like there are the possibilities are so endless with AI art. Okay, so portrait artists, right? Portrait artists, what we do there is we do a photo shoot, right? If you want to pay a very realistic portrait, you need to do a photo shoot. You need to have your own reference pictures, right? So if you're a portrait artist, do you really need to still be doing photo shoots? No, man. Just go. Like there are some things you cannot achieve with photo shoots that you can achieve with AI. Just they are so advanced now. It's so realistic now. Like put HD at the end of your prompt, and you can see the skin pores of your. It's so crazy now. So why are you complaining when you have your reference generating machine right in front of you? So man, do you want to go see? The world is moving. You have to find a way to move with the world. Like you can't be complaining. When you're complaining, people are leaving you behind, man. So instead of taking your camera, looking for models, trying to take pictures of your next painting, man, just put like the prompts or whatever you want, like a model swinging on water in the sun or something like that. It give it to you
Yeah.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
know. I agree with you. Like, it
I'm
is
all
a
for
helpful
AI.
tool.
Yeah.
I had
I
a
mean, but in some cases, right, I feel bad for some, not artists in this case, like people working in all these big companies. Like recently, Shopify laid off like a bunch of people, and I know it was because of AI,
AI.
like
Yeah,
AI being able to do it.
but that's on them. They need to pivot, right?
Right. You need to find a way to make this thing work for you.
Yeah,
At least for now,
exactly.
before they take over the world, right? You still need to find a way for them to work for you. So you can show your employer, like, I have found a way to manipulate this. I mean, it's not, I'm sure it's not as easy as I'm saying because I've never like had a job in Immigrant, so
Yeah,
I
shoot.
don't know.
Also, another one I want to ask you. Do you think you're successful?
Right now, not yet. I feel the fire burning, like I feel I'm on the right path, the right direction, but successful right now, nah, I think I'm very far from it.
When or how you would know that you're successful?
That question. I think when my artworks are everywhere and someone walks into like like a big gallery, sees a work on the wall and just says, "Oh, is that Caesar's work?" Yeah, I think that would define success for me as an artist. Yeah. I think that would be very important. Yeah.
Well, you have to sell your painting, right?
I'm doing my best.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta let them go.
Yeah.
You gotta listen to the
Yeah.
wife.
I know, right? I'm doing my best. Trust me. I'm doing my best. I have to fight this war in my head. Like, you have to list this painting, man. You have to list.
You mentioned earlier, and I've seen you on Instagram that you paint outside. Do you always paint outside?
Now, yes, always. Like the past 2, 3 months, I used to paint inside, but there was never enough space because I like painting like big sizes, right?
Hmm.
There was never enough space. And there's this thing I use in my paints to help because oil paints are crazy. If you paint with the paints alone, straight from the tube, it might take like a week before it dries, right? But there's this medium we use that we mix a bit into the paint. It makes it dry faster. Like it dries to touch like the next day, right? And oil paint, you need it to dry a bit before you can continue working on it, so you don't mess uh, up all your artwork. So that stuff we use, that medium, I've read online that it can be toxic, right? So when you seal yourself up indoors and you breathe it in, you work with it throughout the day, it might be over time, it might just be bad for your health.
Oh,
So I take my paintings outside now where there's a lot of open space.
wow. Most artists are susceptible to mental health issues. Do you suffer to that, or other than we talked about it earlier? Your what's that? Imposter syndrome.
Yeah, that might be something. I wouldn't say that's a problem for me. I'm content with myself.
Hmm.
When you have inner peace, I think all these other things are just on the surface. Like if you feel your works are not good enough, that shouldn't be so deep that it brings you way down. Like it should just be all this surface problem that you have, right? So I don't think that would affect me. I'm a very happy person. Like I'm a very crazy person. So I don't know. I don't think
I
that
love
would
it. I think
be
we're getting there, or we're there. But let's close out with one question. What are the most important lessons you've learned in life through creating art?
you have to be like consistent. Like consistency is like the best gift you can have in anything you do. Like in anything, yo, and anything can make you successful. Anything can make your name like go really far as long as you keep doing it every day. Even the bad stuff, right? It can put you in jail as long as you keep doing it every day. But the good stuff, the creativity, even like tech, coding, anything you do, you just have to be consistent. Like as long as you have that gift, you can be successful in anything. So yeah, consistency, that's like what I've learned.
Well said. Again, my man, Caesar, thank you for coming on
Yeah.
the podcast. I really, really do appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here, especially this screen behind you, my school.
Of course. Before we close out, if you want to say your Instagram again or in your website, go ahead.
Yeah, my Instagram is iCaezar, ICAEZAR, and the same thing for my website, iCaezar.com, TikTok, iCaezar, Twitter, iCaezar, like everywhere, ICAEZAR.
Perfect.
Just Google iCaezar.
All
Yeah.
right, man, have a good evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. It's been fun talking to
For
you.
sure. Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you again, Caesar, for coming on the podcast. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, listeners, for listening. This is Aaron Deliosa for An Immigrant's Life. I'll see you guys later.